Chair proceeding further, I first call upon Shri U. Kumar Sir to formally welcome our Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, and all our distinguished guests, delegates, and all participants who have graced this event with their august presence. Shri Kumar has headed 2 coal companies. I'm sorry. I first request our dignitaries to please honor the dais with their presence. I first call upon Shri Pramod Agarwal Sir, Chairman, Coal India Limited. I request Shri Dr. B. Veera Reddy, President, MGMI, and Director Technical, Coal India Limited, to please grace the dais with their presence. I also request Shri P.S. Upadhyay, Chairman, MGMI Delhi Chapter, Shri N.N. Gautam, Special Secretary, Events, MGMI Delhi Chapter, Shri N.N. Gautam, Special Secretary, Events, MGMI Delhi Chapter. I request everyone to please welcome our dignitaries with a big round of applause. I request Shri Ranjit Alpatra, Honorary Secretary, MGMI and DGM Coal India Limited, to please come on the dais and grace the dais with his presence. Shri Ranjit Alpatra, sir. Shri Amritlal Meena, sir, IS Secretary, Ministry of Coal, will be joining us through VC. Now I once again request Shri U. Kumar, sir, to formally welcome our Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, and all our distinguished guests today in this event. Shri Kumar has headed 2 coal companies, SECL and NCL, as the CMD, and has been National President of MGMI for 3 consecutive terms. Shri Kumar, sir.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege being given the opportunity of welcoming such a galaxy of great minds who have responded to our invitation and made sacrifices to come and be with us. I extend a very hearty welcome to our honored chief guest, Shri Amritlal Meena ji, and our guest of honor, Shri Pramod Agarwal ji. I also welcome our VIP guests. We have the privilege of having Dr. M.P. Narayanan with us, Mr. Alok Parti with us, Mr. Jha with us, Dr. Panda with us, and all of you who have been very kind to come all this way. MGMI, you are aware, 106 years old, 111 years old, rather 117 years old, sorry, is an organization, a think tank, which is the oldest in Asia. It was formed in 1906 by the then director GSI, which was the highest position in GSI at that time. It was Dr. Sir Thomas Holland. He was a great geologist and he had a great love for his profession. I think after having seen the geological potential of our country, he must have felt that geology and mining and metallurgy too would play a very important role in development of India, and that's how he conceived and set up this MGMI with himself as the first president. That his vision was right is proved today by the fact that the highest policy maker of Indian coal industry and the highest implementer of the policy, Dr. Meena as well as Mr. Pramod Agarwal, they are with us, and they will talk about about Sir Holland and whatever has happened in the country and whatever is happening in the country. Now, together with that, we have a national seminar on energy issue, that meeting the challenge, blue hydrogen. After Industrial Revolution, energy has been a major issue all over the world. And that energy primarily was being offered by the fossil fuels, particularly coal, followed by oil and gas. In our case, in case of India, it has been practically entirely coal because we don't have anything and we have to import the other fuels like gas and oil. So that's and then the problem has got compounded by the fact that the world has come to a unanimous opinion that coal is the biggest culprit behind global warming, and a call has been given for shunning coal, for getting rid of coal. We have made our stand clear that we can't do without coal, but then as responsible global citizens, we have also taken action, very effective action, to replace coal by renewable energy, our energy sources. And in that, a ray of hope has come in the form of nitrogen. So it claimed that nitrogen is the most effective, most efficient energy source as well as energy carrier. And the government of India have also launched a hydrogen mission in 2021 with, of course, the objective as the green hydrogen. Unfortunately, producing this amount of green hydrogen that we aim at, say 5 tons per day, that will involve enormous investment and it will take time. So I think a midway solution has been found by going for blue hydrogen, which is really gray hydrogen produced by power from highway sources, and then sequestering the carbon dioxide so that the hydrogen for use becomes clean. As usual, MGMI as a think tank has been trying to figure out what is happening in the world, what is going to happen in the world, and that's why we chose the subject of meeting the challenge to blue hydrogen. I am hopeful, rather confident, that today's deliberations, and in which 5 eminent speakers who are in the trade of blue energy, they will be speaking, and that will lay out a implementable roadmap for future progress on blue hydrogen. I once again welcome you to this conference and do hope that you find it to be worthwhile and that it will open avenues for future progress on the issue. So thank you, gentlemen. I'll now speak.
Thank you so much, sir. Now request Dr. B. Veera Reddy, President, MGMI and Director Technical, to please present shawl and bouquet to our guest of honor, Chairman, Coal India Limited, Shri Pramod Agarwal, sir. Our chief guest, Shri Amritlal Meena, sir, Secretary Coal India Limited, Secretary Coal, Government of India, has joined through VC, and we heartily welcome him in this program. Now proceeding further, it is auspicious to start any program with lighting of the lamp. So I invite the respected dignitaries to please join for lighting the lamp. Om Shubham Karoti Kalyanam Arogyam Dhan Sampada Shatru Buddhidi Vinashaya Deepam Jyotim Namastute. I fold my hands before the light that brings prosperity, auspiciousness, good health, abundance of wealth, and destruction of the enemy's intellect. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello, 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 hello.
Now, I request Dr. B. Veera Reddy, President MGMI and Director Technical, Coal India Limited, for his introductory remarks on the memorial lecture. Dr. Reddy has held the onerous responsibilities of Presidentship of MGMI for close to 2 years now and has already imparted a new direction to the activities of this institute, which is important at this crucial juncture when Indian coal industry is at the crossroad and facing multi-pronged challenges. Dr. B. Veera Reddy.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Respected Sri Amritlal Meena, IAS, Government of India, Ministry of Coal. Respected Sri Pramod Agarwal, IAS, Chairman, Coal India. Sri U. Kumar Saab, Sri Gautam Saab, Sri Upajaya Saab, Sri Talapatraji, all distinguished guests. Good morning once again. Just I will give the origin of how this Holland Memorial Lecture started and what is its significance. Sir Thomas Henry Holland, who has instituted this organization, this MGMI, in 1906, and has become the first president of MGMI. He was born in 1869 in Canada, and at the age of 21 years, he was appointed as Superintendent in Geological Survey of India in 1903. Then he became Director of GSI. During his tenure as Director of Geological Survey of India, he contributed very significantly to the growth of mineral industry, geology department, mining branches. So that brought him reputation internationally. And again, he has started this institution of MGMI in 1906. And I think in the year 1954, this Holland Memorial Lecture has started operating this lecture and all in memory of Sir Thomas Holland. And from there onwards, every year we're organizing this Holland Memorial Lecture. And except during World Wars and Chinese-Pakistan war and COVID pandemic, except those extraordinary reasons, otherwise every year we are endeavoring to organize every year. So it is a very important event for MGMI. Actually, this MGMI, Mining Geological and Metallurgical Institute of India, has been instituted with the objective of developing all the mining branches and mineral occurrences within India so that the country's growth, you know that basically it is dependent on mineral sector. So by doing this, the total economic growth will happen by development of these sectors. So that is the objective. And as a part of that, again, in the last 6 months or 8 months, MGMI organized, I think, 4 seminars. One at Hyderabad, Bhubaneswar, then Nagpur, then Kolkata, on different topics. And also interacting with all the field people to disseminate the knowledge so that that is beneficial to the mining industry. And coming to MGMI members, if you look at the MGMI members, all are retired CMDs, retired directors, retired CEOs of all the organizations, including metallurgical industry, geological, and mining. So I think in no other organization you have this much of talent and expertise. Government earlier was utilizing the services of this organization for framing the policy matters on mining related issues, and also that safety, National Safety Board, and all related mining activities, because all are together and from different forums. Geology and mining cannot be separated. Both are like brothers. Once you start with geology, then you do mining. And that is the complete thing of mining. Without knowing geology, you can't do mining. Complete exploration is required. Complete geology details are required for planning anything. After mining, again processing comes in metallurgical. So that way it is a complete process right from exploration to end product, including that metallurgical process and all. So all the people are here. It is a really valuable organization. That people should feel that it is valuable organization, that that is not that we are saying this is valuable. That will be known once we contribute something, we really do something for the nation or for the cause of mineral industry. So with the help of, with the guidance of all the seniors, past presidents, probably we are moving in that direction. We have taken so many suggestions. We are trying to implement them, conducting these workshops and increasing membership and increasing this social media presence, and also that whatever innovative things are there, whatever knowledge part is there, that will be shared with everyone. That way we are trying to work, and there is lot of scope for further improvement, and with these kind of interactions we will get some suggestions, and we will try to implement whatever recommendations, suggestions we receive during conference and workshops. And I would like to thank our Secretary Sir for accepting to deliver this Holland Memorial Lecture. And also I would like to thank our Chairman Coal India, who is kind enough to come from Kolkata to here and attend physically. And also he delivered Foundation Day lecture. And he is a very practical man and result-oriented approach and all. So you can see the results of Coal India also. We are very fortunate that he who is here and guiding on way forward. I also thank Delhi MGMI chapter, particularly Kumar Saab, Gautam Saab, and Upadhyay Saab. They are very senior persons, and with their maturity and experience and all, they are guiding this MGMI right from the beginning. You know that MGMI has got 18 branches all over the country, spread over all over the country. And we started reviving or taking active steps in all the branches. I think Mr. Tamacherian is also there. He is from, again, Birla Group. We even included Tata Group, we have included Sundar Raman and all. So we want to spread the activities of MGMI to the every part of the country. It should not be confined to only East India or Central East India, not that way. So we want to spread the organization. We want to conduct the seminars and workshops all over the India, so that the whatever knowledge is there, that can be shared with everyone. And that way the industry will be, mining industry will be benefited. So finally, I will thank the organizers for organizing this event. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I request Sri Ranjit Talapatra, sir, to kindly address us today. Sri Talapatra has been discharging the heavy responsibilities of Honorary Secretary MGMI, and he has made tremendous contributions in expanding the activities of the Institute. I may also request, sir, to introduce the guest of honor today, Sri Pramod Agarwal, sir, Chairman, Coal India Limited. Sri Ranjit Talapatra, sir.
Thank you. Namaskar. A very good morning to our chief guest and speaker for the 62nd Holland Memorial Lecture, respected Sri Amritlal Meena sir, Secretary Coal, and respected Pramod Agarwal Saab, Chairman Coal India, a guest of honor, President MGY, Dr. B. Veera Reddy sir, former President MGMI, Upendra Kumar Saab, Chairman MGMI Delhi Chapter Sri P.S. Upadhyay Saab, and Special Secretary Events of MGMI Delhi Chapter C.N. Gautam Saab, and all other dignitaries and participants in this august audience. We could not hold the event in the last 3 years due to obvious reasons, and the last 61st Holland Memorial Lecture was also organized by Delhi Chapter and held in Delhi with Mr. Amitabh Kant, CEO Niti Aayog, giving the lecture. I hope you'll all appreciate the commitment of our chief guest and speaker of today. Like in his busy schedule and commitment, he has kindly agreed to deliver for the deliverance of this lecture online while on his way, and we are sure to will be learning many things from it. Thank you, sir. As many of you may already know, that we are organizing the 10th Asian Mining Congress and the 10th International Mining Equipment Exhibition at Kolkata in Taj Talkote Convention Center and Eco Park respectively between 6th to 9th November 2023. Like, hope you'll all participate in a big way. The brochures are available outside and you can visit our website to check in this thing. We are grateful to President MGMI, Chairman Coal India and Secretary Coal Government of India for the kind and continued support and guidance for the event. We have also received the support of Secretary, Department of Defense Research and Development, and also Ministry of Steel, Government of India. We request you all to kindly block the dates and participate in a big way. Thank you. Hoping to see you all in Calcutta in November. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I am also given the responsibility of introducing a very known and famous person in mining industry, Coal India, Chairman Coal India, Sri Pramod Agrawal Saab, who has joined Coal India in 2020 February and led Coal India to great heights. He's an IAS officer who was in MP cadre and has covered during his long and illustrious career a variety of departments, and now he is leading us to great heights. Last year's results of Coal India with crossing the target and all other factors is really commendable. I hope you'll all appreciate this and give attention to. He's a leader in his own right and has also supported MGMI all through. I request our guest of honor of today, Sri Pramod Agrawal Saab, to now please give his address. Thank you, sir.
Respected Sri Amritlal Meena ji, Secretary, Government of India, Ministry of Coal. Respected Sri Veera Reddy Sahab, Director Technical and President of MGMI. Sri Upadhyay Sahab, Sri U. Kumar Sahab, Sri N. Gautam Sahab, Sri Talpatra ji, other seniors present in this conference, and my dear friends. I am honored to be here, and I'm thankful to MGMI for having invited me in this program. These forums and these seminars have got a very distinct purpose. When we discuss here with experienced people who have spent their life in mining industry will learn a lot. And with these discussions, new knowledge is created, a new way of working is created, and which definitely help the country and the companies in achieving their goal. Today, we are discussing what are the one of the things that can meet the challenge of the energy in coming years, and that is blue hydrogen. As you people all know, that hydrogen is being classified in different colors: gray, blue, green, pink, and all many colors, depending on their source and how it is produced. But there are two sources of hydrogen. One is two hydrogens, which are, one is blue and another is green, which are environmentally friendly. For any country, energy security is a must, and we have to ensure that at all time energy is available to people at affordable price. So accessibility and affordability have always been two factors while considering the source of energy. But in today's world, sustainability has become the third factor, which cannot be anymore ignored. In India, we are saying that we are consuming very less energy. Our consumption is 1/3 of the world average, 1/5 of the what China is consuming per capita. But in future, such logics perhaps will not hold, and we will have to go for some sources which are green. Even if we are consuming fossil fuels, they have to be green, and they have to be in such a way that the production becomes sustainable. And in this context, this blue hydrogen becomes important. As you all know, that hydrogen is not a source of energy. It is basically a carrier of energy. Hydrogen is not found in the atmosphere or the nature. It is the source of, it is a carrier of energy, and in that form, how to use more effectively is a challenge. Basically, whatever gray hydrogen today is used is basically in the process in industries, in manufacturing of this ammonia or fertilizers, or in other petrochemical industries, petroleum products, etc. But as a source of energy, or as a carrier of energy, or as a storage energy system, it is not being used, and it cannot be used, because in production of the gray hydrogen and then converting it into energy consumes more energy than what direct energy production can, directly producing energy can do. So if we produce directly from coal, perhaps more energy will be generated if we take this hydrogen route, and hence in that form perhaps it is not useful. But burning the coal and burning the fossil fuel generates lot of carbon. If we go through gasification of the coal and store that
But in that, the question arises why we are talking about blue hydrogen, why not go for green hydrogen? Ultimately, perhaps the green hydrogen will be the choice of promising solution. In that context, perhaps
producing hydrogen becomes very difficult and it is very energy consuming. So midway has been found, and generally hydrogen storage is done at the level where it generates 2 to 3 kilowatt hour of energy. But in future, perhaps things will develop further, and with all such discussions, we can find such new routes. In Coal India, we will support, we can assure that we will support any development or research which is done in this field to improve the sustainability of any energy source or any storage system which can help the country in developing faster. I wish all the best for this conference, and I am quite hopeful that whatever conclusions are drawn from this this conference will be useful and can be adopted in future. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Truly said, change is inevitable, and preparing in advance will help in the long way. And hydrogen is an inevitable change knocking the doors of energy sector. Now, I request Dr. B. Veera Reddy, President, MGMI and Director Technical, to kindly welcome Sri Amritlal Meena, sir, Secretary, Ministry of Coal, who has, as a token of respect, who has joined us on VC, and as a token of respect, a welcome. Sir. Sorry.
Yes, sir. We welcome you virtually, sir. We are presenting a bouquet to welcome you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request our Chairman, MGMI Delhi Chapter, Sri P.S. Upadhyay, sir, a distinguished mining engineer and holding prestigious position of Director Technical at NMDC Limited, to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Amritlal Meena, sir, IAS Secretary Coal, for this program. Sri P.S. Upadhyay, sir.
Respected Shri Meena ji, who has joined us virtually, dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, a big namaskar to all of you and welcome. I have the pleasant task of introducing our chief guest of today, Shri Meena ji. Shri Meena ji is an electrical engineer and holds a PG degree on public policy from IIM Bangalore. He belongs to the IS cadre of Bihar, 1989 batch. He started his career as sub-regional officer in Begusarai in 1991. Having held various important positions in the state, he also held the position of 5 districts, as many as 5 districts in Bihar, which is a unique position. He also had the prestigious positions of secretary, additional secretary positions in the center, Department of Commerce and Promotion of Industry and International Trade, and now in the challenging position of Secretary Coal since November 2022. Within a short span of few months, he has given new direction to the Ministry of Coal, which has created a new record in the matters of production, productivity, dispatch, and many other aspects of its performance. We hope under his leadership, we will reach the critical milestone of producing 1 billion tons of coal. We also hope that in due course, India will be retransformed from perennial importer of coal to important exporter to Southeastern Asia. We are certain that Indian coal industry would meet the challenges under his dynamic and efficient guidance. We are fortunate to have him as our chief guest for today's event. I now invite Shri Minaji and request him to kindly deliver the Holland Memorial Lecture 2023. Thank you.
Sir, you are not audible, sir. Yeah, now it is okay, sir. Now you are audible. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
I wanted to be there in the program in physical mode with you, but because of certain commitments, specifically this is a thermal power plant coming up in Ghat of next 3 years, all these companies will have net zero about 5,200 trillion megawatt of the solar energy targets have been fixed, which is likely to be achieved. On sustainability front, Coal India Limited is doing excellent work. The entire land which is from which the reserves have been taken out, the weak coal land, is being put to useful purposes now. Depending on the geographical condition and the surface condition, either it is being converted into dense forest area, or the water bodies, or the eco parks, or being put to whatever uses. Like in lignite, since the land is plain and fertile land, huge areas have been converted back into the agricultural land, and efforts are that each and every square kilometer of the decoal area in CIL and also NLCIL and SCCL is put back to usage so that it is not left unattended. And there may be situation times to come where we will be offering these decoal land for the compensatory afforestation requirement as for the new mines under the MC policy. Ministry of Coal is committed to adopt the principles of Mission Life launched by Honorable Mission Life for Environment. We have started action on all 75 action points. About 10 of them are relevant to the coal sector, and extensive work is going on so that so as to ensure contribution of the coal sector to this great mission. I'm very happy to participate in this memorial lecture and wish all the success. I'm sure the deliberations will lead to useful recommendations for the energy sector. I once again thank organizers for giving me an opportunity and wish a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Truly said, all the stakeholders will have to work together to meet the energy requirements of the country in a sustainable manner. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I request Sri N. Gautam, sir, Special Secretary Events of MGMI Delhi Chapter, to propose the vote of thanks. Sri Gautam is the heart and soul of the MGMI activities in National Capital Region, and it is he on whose strength Delhi Chapter dared to take the responsibility of organizing the prestigious Holland Memorial Lecture, which will be followed by the national seminar on the theme Meeting the Challenges, Blue Hydrogen. In fact, he has given a new look to the MGMI as a vibrant think tank in all matters relating to mining, geology and metallurgy. Shri N. Gautam, sir.
Good morning, everyone. It is indeed a privilege to propose a vote of thanks to the dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries on the floor, coal experts, learned speakers of the panel discussion that is likely to follow in the next technical session, delegates, MGI members who are here with us physically, as well as those who are with us virtually, members of the media, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have just now heard a very informative, action-oriented, detailed future roadmap speech for the coal sector on the 62 Holland Memorial Lecture delivered by Shri Amritlal Meena-ji, Secretary Coal, Government of India, the chief guest of this function. Sir, we are very grateful to you and thank you for sparing your valuable time for us. You had to go out of Delhi on urgent work, but were kind enough to join us virtually from Kanpur or nearby. We are most obliged to you, sir, and we are confident that under your able leadership, coal sector will reach newer heights. I would especially like to mention the special initiative that has been taken by Ministry of Coal is the captive coal mining, which had been started, in the late 90s, but did not fruit any results. But after the Supreme Court order and all and everything was down the drain, it was Ministry of Coal that opened a new sector of making commercial mining through the auction route, which was done very transparently. And it is a matter of great pride that last year, this captive sector, this commercial sector, has shown a growth of 34%, which is remarkable. So this is one achievement, sir, that must go to your credit, and we expect that under your leadership, we'll continue to gain bigger and bigger heights. So thank you very much, sir. We are most thankful to Shri Pramod Agarwal ji, Chairman Coal India, our guest of honor, who has just given a very informative special address, giving the fantastic achievements of Coal India during Coal India last year has achieved a tremendous growth. I think it is unprecedented, never reached before. 13% growth has been there, and it is the progress which is being done by Coal India, really, even including me personally, given a hope that we will be achieving the target of producing 1 million ton in a year very soon. Few years ago, this looked like a dream to mining engineers, and we never really thought that it could become possible in that time frame. But under his guidance, his able leadership, this has become possible, and we do hope that Coal India will continue to rise to further heights. So thank you very much, sir. I thank Shri V. Veera Reddy, President MGMI and Director Technical Coal India, for being here with us, along with Shri Ranjit Talapatra, Honorary Secretary MGMI, Deputy GM Coal India. On behalf of MGMI Delhi chapter, I thank our President for giving us the opportunity to hold the prestigious 62nd HOLLAND Memorial Lecture in Delhi. Traditionally, it is held every year in Calcutta headquarters of MGMI. We were unfortunate to hold the 61 and 60th Holland Memorial Lecture here in Delhi. It was delivered by Shri Amitabh Kant, retired IAS and CEO Niti Aayog, and Dr. Anil Kakodkar, former Chairman Atomic Energy Commission, respectively. I sincerely thank the speakers in advance of the next session for their efforts to have spared their valuable time as well as share their learned thoughts with us. I am thankful to Shri U. Kumar, past President MGMI, former CMD NCL and ACCL, for his kind support and guidance for organizing this event. Without his guidance and without his push, we would have found it even more difficult to organize this event, and the successful culmination of this event, his credit goes to Mr. Kumar. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this. I thank also the organizing committee of this event, Shri Piyush Kumar, Organizing Secretary of the OSD MOC, Shri S.K. Grover, Shri M.N. Jha, Shri V.K. Sehgal, Shri Pankaj Jha, for their dedicated hard work in organizing this event. I thank our media friends who are present here to report the proceedings of this important interactive conference to the public at large. I thank the Grand Hotel for their support. Now, may I request you to please proceed for tea, coffee, which is just outside this hall, and then subsequently after the tea, we will have the technical session, Meeting Challenges, Blue Hydrogen. So thank you very much. सर आपके बगैर कुछ नहीं होता है।
पानी के बॉटल्स, अरे कोई बात नहीं, ये
Alok Parti, IS retired former Secretary, Ministry of Coal. I request Sri Alok Parti, IS retired former Secretary, Ministry of Coal, to sir please come on the dais. Sir will chair the session today. A big applause for Parti sir. Dr. Piyush Kumar, Organizing Secretary and Council Member, MGMI and OSD, Ministry of Coal, will be the session coordinator. Sri V.R. Sharma, Vice Chairman, Jindal Steel and Power Limited. I request Sri V.R. Sharma, Vice Chairman, Jindal Steel and Power Limited, to please join on the dais. I request Sri Rajiv Agarwal, Director, Engineers India Limited, to please join the dais. Sri Rajiv Agarwal, Director, Engineers India Limited. I also request Sri Soloma Yamdo, Executive Director, Oil India Limited, to please join on the dais for the session. Sri Saloma Yamdo, Executive Director, Oil India Limited. I also request Sri M. Lakshmi Narsimhan, Sri M. Lakshmi Narsimhan, sir, Managing Director, New Era Clean Tech. I'm so sorry for this mistake. Sri Bala Saheb Darade, MD, New Era Clean Tech. I'm so sorry for my mistake. Sri Bala Saheb Darade, MD, New Era Clean Tech. And I request Sri M. Lakshmi Narsimhan, DGM, BHEL. Now, I hand over the session to Sri Alok Parti, sir, for the technical session on meeting the challenges blue hydrogen. Sri Alok Parti, sir.
Good morning, everybody. It's been a pleasure listening to the Coal Secretary, Mr. Meena, and then Mr. Pramod Agarwal, the Chairman, Coal India, on very, very relevant and important topics. Well, there are experts sitting on the desk. There are experts sitting on the dais who would be speaking in much more detail on the subject. Well, people are familiar, must have already read that the subject that which is going to be discussed relates to blue hydrogen. Well, to initiate this dialogue, I will make a few opening remarks. First of all, it's very important to acknowledge and to accept that the movement towards renewable energy and the reduction of all sources of emissions, particularly carbon dioxide, is something which has been acknowledged and accepted worldwide. And India is no exception. Commitments have been made by the country in various COP meetings, and we are slowly moving towards fulfilling those commitments. While in some areas we seem to have done exceedingly well, in some areas we lack. While it's easy to kind of establish, say, sources of renewable energy, and the speed at which we are going is perhaps okay, but I think the more difficult part is to look at the sinks carbon sinks which have to be created, which is again a difficult part of this commitment. All the same, today we are definitely moving towards more and more green energy. In this, various alternatives have been talked about, and we find that hydrogen as a source of energy seems to be dominating much of the discussion and is being looked upon as a very viable alternative. Well, as Pramodji and I think also Mr. Meena said, that there are different shades of hydrogen. You have a brown hydrogen, you have a pink, you have a blue and green. Of course, when you talk of green hydrogen, that's the ultimate, in the sense that you have practically hydrogen being produced using solar energy, that is photovoltaic cells, and basically doing hydrolysis of water and producing hydrogen. That is a process which is not very technically unknown. It has been known for years and years, and it is some of the countries like the Scandinavian countries have utilized this process very, very effectively, particularly for transport areas. We are trying to use hydrogen also in transport in some sectors here, but to use it as a major source for energy, I would say power generation, would be a challenge. Now, why blue hydrogen is something which people have already talked about. I think the issues before us when we talk of any source of energy will be somewhat like this. One, what is that source? And whether that source is easily available. Today we are talking of blue hydrogen, which is basically trying to gasify a fossil fuel and then moving towards production of hydrogen from there, and chemicals and reduction and chemicals, other chemicals, and reducing the emissions to some extent. So source is something which one has to talk about. Second thing is technology. What technologies are to be used, whether they are very suitable for the fuel or the raw material that you have, or whether that needs modification or it needs modification of the raw material itself. All these issues then come up. Third thing that is important perhaps is, what is the investment like? Is it very high? Do we have the resources? And if it is a question of replacement, you have to look at the volumes, and you look at how much. Suppose you are looking at, say, 1,000 megawatt replacement. What is going to be involved? What is the kind of money that is, and whether how much can be done? Third thing would be, if it is an energy, it is a generation of power in the sense that you're going to generate it at the source where the hydrogen is being produced. Or are you going to transport hydrogen? If you are doing transportation of hydrogen, then what are the nuances of hydrogen transportation, hydrogen storage? All these issues then become relevant. Today I think we have a number of experts. I hope they will be able to get into some of these issues, if not all, and give some ideas. We don't expect something very definite, okay, this is the blueprint. It is not so. But ideas are to be floated, concepts have to be thrown, and some estimations as to what this whole shift really entails. So I leave it at that with these few opening remarks, and I hand over the responsibility, partly I would say, not all of it, I'll have to really do the conclusions, to my friend Piyush. who will invite, after introducing the speakers, and invite each one of them to make the presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I feel happy that we have a panel of experts on blue hydrogen. Before I start, I will request Director Technical, Coal India and President of MGMI to kindly honor Sri Parthi Sahab with a bouquet, who is the session chair. Thank you, sir. Coming to the topic of blue hydrogen, we all know that Government of India is thinking about hydrogen economy, green hydrogen. There are two major things in green hydrogen. You all know that for 1 kg of hydrogen production, you require 55 units of electricity. You can calculate the cost of only electricity, and then 9 liters of ionized water for 1 kg of hydrogen. This, there is no denying the fact that coal we have plenty, and we can produce hydrogen through coal gasification route. So on this topic, there are two things. One is coal gasification, and second thing, hydrogen production. In this panel, we have all experts, existing operators of gasification, the potential investors, the engineering consultant, and the indigenous technology provider, and we have from the oil sector, because the hydrogen which is going to be produced will be utilized in refineries, and we need CCUS to make it blue. We will be deliberating the subject. What I feel so that we have around 1 hour 15 minutes. 10 minutes each we will be giving to each panelist. They will be putting their opinions, and then we will be opening the floor for discussion on way ahead. So I will start with Sri V.R. Sharma Sahab, who is Vice Chairman of Jindal Steel and Power Limited. Jindal Steel and Power Limited is a company which has started coal gasification in a big way. I have seen him for last 10 years advocating coal-based coal gasification plants. We have visited Angul plants under his vision, and we have seen this. I have seen him speaking on various forums in the steel sector, coal sector. Right now he has been given this responsibility across globe in JSPL. He gets very little time to be in India, but we are fortunate that he spared his time for today's conference. I will request Sri V.R. Sharma sir.
Respected government officials present here, honorable members, those who are attending this particular conference, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. It's a great privilege for me to speak in an August gathering like this. Very, very highly experienced people you all are. The coal gasification, blue hydrogen, green hydrogen is a journey which we have to complete by 2070. As Honorable Prime Minister has already committed to the World Environmental Associations, Paris Protocol, COP21 to COP27. The journey is going to be very, very challenging. But all this journey has to be completed by a value by 3 generation that is called V3G. What is V3G? V3G is the generation, the people, those who are in the age group of more than 50 today. This is one generation. We can call them generation 1. Then generation 2, the young engineers and scientists, those who are in the age group of 30 to 40 years, that is generation 2. So out of V3G means one is V1, that is the people, those who are 50 or 55 plus. The second generation, 30 to 40 maximum, 42, 45. And then the third generation, the children, those who are yet to born or just born. So these are the three generations. Why I'm telling you this thing? Because 2070 means 47 years from now. So 24, 25 years is the lifespan of any engineer or scientist active working. So 2 generations will go away or will put their efforts to make India to a level of net zero CO2. We have been talking, let us do it faster. Let us do it faster. Let us convert ourselves into a hydrogen economy as fast as possible. But that is not the solution. The solution is we have to find out how to survive with sustainability. Everybody speaks on sustainability. Sustainability is important, but is not important than survival. God has given us, God has bestowed us the best of the best reserves, energy reserves in the world, and that is coal. We have always been speaking that we don't have gas, we don't have oil, we don't have rare earth minerals. We often forget that the nature has bestowed us the best reserves, 350 billion tons of reserves of coal, which we have not utilized for millions of years. I was listening in the morning session that now we are at level of 1 billion ton of coal production. We should make 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion ton coal production, not 1 billion ton. We import today more than 80 million ton coal, coking coal for steel industry. We are importing more than 200 million ton of steam coal. So 200 million ton of steel coal of calorific value 6,000, 6,500 or 7,000 is equivalent to about 400 million ton of the coking thermal coal available in the country. So that means 1 billion ton we are producing, 400 million ton we are importing, 200 into 2, and 80 million ton coal we are importing as coking coal. So put together it comes to 1,500 million ton or 1.5 billion ton. So our requirement today is 1.5 billion ton. How to address this requirement? Apart from that, we have been importing a lot of LPG, propane, natural gas, that is over and above. The liquid ammonia, methanol, that is over and above this particular energy. So I had been talking to various firms, and in a very, very close association with Dr. Piyush Kumar at various firms, and we have found that India can make its own future by converting coal into coal gas. We in Jindal, we put up this plant in 2010, and in 2013 it was fully functional, but unfortunately we didn't have coal. And this is the reason this plant was limping. Sometimes we were working, sometimes not working. But you know, there are always Narendra Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister, says that Aapada mein avsar. So that came to us, the opportunities during the difficult times or the very, very difficult time that was COVID. So when the COVID started in March 2020, Coal India, especially the Mahanadi coal field, they were flooded with coal. A lot of coal was there. So one day the chairman of Mahanadi coal field, Mr. Shukla ji, he called us and he told, "Do you need coal?" We told, "Yes sir, we need coal." You will not believe, we lifted more than 1 million ton coal for our coal gasification plant, and thereafter we didn't stop it. It is working. Day in, day night, 24/7, we are working this particular unit. The coal gasification is a wonderful technology. We bought this technology from Largi, and this was basically based on the Sasol coal gasification plant, where they produce coal to gas gas to oil, that is diesel, gas to petrol, benzene, naphtha, and lastly, the last value chain of the carbon, that is olefins. They are doing everything. So we also had a dream that we will put up this coal to gas one, and then coal to liquids, and finally olefins, so that we can make it happen that the coal in India is not a curse, it is a blessings of God. भगवान ने इतनी ज़्यादा हमारे को संपदा दी है कि हमने उसका यूटिलाइजेशन प्रॉपर कभी समझा ही नहीं या किया नहीं. Now the point is, when we discussed with the best of the best engineering companies in the world, from America, from Germany, we got a calculation done that what will be the price of diesel X gate without the capex or the investment in the plant, the operational. What will be the operational OPEX? To our great surprise, we found in 2014 it was 17 rupees per barrel X gate. 2017 it was 21 rupees, and today it is 28 rupees per barrel. $28 per barrel. So you can imagine, $78 per barrel is a crude, and as against of that we can get equivalent energy at $28 per barrel. This is what the coal economy is. Now coal gasification, I want to tell you, we produce 225,000 nm cube of gas per hour. We have a process, again Largi process, followed by Rectisol. We recover liquid ammonia. We recover liquid gas oil, that is equivalent to diesel or LDO. We recover naphtha. We recover tar. We recover phenol solvents, and many more valuable products. Now all these valuable products, what we are recovering today, and if we take the coal gasification cost, and as per the declaration by Government of India, or as per the incentives given by Government of India, that the coal gasification unit, they will be charged or they will be given a benefit of 50% on tariff, overall tariff. The total cost of gas comes to $4 per MMBTU, as against of $14, $15, $18, $20 per MMBTU of natural gas. If you don't have the coal at a discounted rate, then it goes to $7 per MMBTU. It is still better than natural gas. This is what I wanted to come over here to on the right point, that the first thing is coal gasification. The second thing is converting the coal gas or the syngas into blue hydrogen. Where today, when we do syngas, we have 56% of hydrogen and 27 to 28% carbon monoxide. About 11 to 12% is CH4 and balance is nitrogen. Now we are working on a project where we can convert CH4 again into hydrogen. We have a CO2, that is CCUS unit, carbon capturing unit, CO2 capturing unit, and we capture today 2,000 tons of CO2 from our plant. Unfortunately, there is no usage. We have to re-inject into the sky. We capture and we re-inject. This is unfortunate because we are looking that if some companies can come or Government of India can help us, that they can set up a CO2 users park near to our plant, we can give the CO2 free. This is what we are looking now. Now coming back on the major issue or major subject, that is blue hydrogen. Now our hydrogen percentage in syngas is 56 to 57%. We are now enriching it to 75%. So 75% will be hydrogen because we will convert all methane CH4 into hydrogen. And finally, we will be reaching to a total blue hydrogen 100%. All the schemes are laid, the work is going on. And when we have this 100% hydrogen, we will be injecting this hydrogen to replace our PCI coal in blast furnace. we'll be saving 50 kg imported PCI coal by injecting the hydrogen into blast furnaces. This is one. Second, we are putting up 100% HPH, we call it HPH annealing furnaces, 100% hydrogen annealing furnaces in our plant, so that we can utilize this hydrogen as 100% as a gas, as a fuel, as a reactant, so that we can avoid using any other fuel. The next is, we are using this syngas to produce 2 million ton DRI, direct reduced iron, or sponge iron. And finally, it goes to electric arc furnace. We are adding 2 more DRI plants. The total capacity 2.5 million ton each. That means we will be having 7 million ton of DRI plants. So this will be a true blue hydrogen based steel making. This plant already the construction has started, and we are hopeful that by 2026 we'll be completing this project. We are now expanding our coal gasification capacity from 225,000 m³ per hour to 1 million nm³ per hour. So 4 times. Why 4 times? Because today we are having 2 million ton of DRI plant. In times to come, another 5 million DRI plant will come at Angul, and 2 million ton DRI plant will come in Raigad. So this is what our company is thinking and doing. Already work is started. Now another project we are working, very interesting project. We are working because today we are not finding the user of CO2. We are going to convert CO2 into methane. When we have the blue hydrogen, we take the blue hydrogen from coal, we pick up this 2000 ton of CO2 which is available today, and we will react into H2 plus CO2, which will give us a CH4 plus CO plus H2O. This is what we are going to do. Already the catalysts have been developed in the world to convert the CO2 by adding hydrogen into CH4. And once we have the CH4, we have various uses of CH4. We can utilize it for as a gas, as a natural gas, or we can again make it a syngas, or whatever way we want to utilize it, because that is an energy or like a natural gas. And this is what we are going to do. This project we are already undertaken. Hopefully in next 3 to 4 years time, all this 2000 ton of CO2, what we are producing today, will be converted into CH4. And there will be no CO2 will be putting into the sky from existing unit. But the challenge will be, when we are adding 3 more units, what will happen to that CO2? Now the challenge is in front of government and in front of the industry and all of the scientists is, one, we should have a pipeline to transport hydrogen from one location to another location, and we should also have a pipeline to transport CO2 from one location to another location into CO2 users park. Where will that be? I do not know. But whether it is going to be a sequestration, or it is going to be used by ONGC, or it is going to be used by chemical industries, or it is going to be used by fertilizer industry, that time will tell. But the bigger challenges are how to transport hydrogen and how to transport CO2 to a user's park somewhere in the eastern coast or in the western coast of the country. These are the developments going on in the world. Now coming back on the blue hydrogen, when we have the blue hydrogen, we call it blue, but the moment we have the sequestration process available, this blue hydrogen comes as green hydrogen. That will be our next project, that how to convert into a green hydrogen, because when you do not have any CO2 thrown in the air, that will change the total perception. You will be surprised to note, many of you are from the power industry, China has taken up a challenge to put up new power plants, thermal coal-based power plant, 80,000 megawatt in next 1 year. This is unheard. In a time when no bank is picking up to fund any of the thermal coal thermal coal-based power plant. At that time, China is busy in building new power facilities through the coal route. China is producing today 70 million ton hydrogen through coal. We are producing 0. We have to produce not 70 million. We have to produce maybe 200 million ton hydrogen in times to come from our existing coal available. Renewable energy, the solar energy, there is a long journey. And this journey will take maybe 2 decades. But coal to hydrogen, coal to syngas, coal to fertilizer through syngas, coal to power through the integrated combined cycle power plants, that is the future for our country. We don't have to transport coal. Today 500 plus rakes every day we are transporting from coal mines to various locations in the country. We don't have to do that. The time will be that all of the power plants in the country, they should come near to the coal mines. This may take 20 years time, doesn't matter, because we still have another 27 years time. So if we put up all of the plants near to the coal mines and convert coal into gas, and we put up the IGCC plant, integrated combined cycle power plants, then the efficiency increases from existing 30% to 56%. Each 1% increase in the efficiency reduces 2% CO2. When we go for IGCC, we get 55 to 56% of efficiency level, thermal efficiency level. Whereas in the thermal power plant, it is ranging from 28% to 32%. That will be the bigger jump. So for that, what do we need? We need a pipeline from the pit head coal gasification plants to the thermal power plants. Today, suppose we do not want to transport or we do not want to relocate our new power facilities, power generation to the pit heads, then still the coal gasification, syngas, can be transported from Kashmir, from our pit heads to Kashmir to Kanyakumari comfortably. It is easier to transport gas than coal. It is easier to transport electricity through transmission towers than coal. The total ecosystem will be changed. There is no point transporting energy by another energy. Use local, use electricity and transport coal, 500, 550 wagons, rakes every day and transport another energy. There's no point. It doesn't mean this is something new I'm telling. Everybody knows it. But the only way is that we have to find out the right capex, right decision by Government of India that we will not transport this 550 rakes every day, we'll transport only 200 rakes every day, and balance 300 or 350 rakes will convert into coal gas, that is syngas, and we will run our IGCC plants, integrated combined cycle power plants. So that's all from my side. I'll request all of you, whosoever gets time, please visit our Angul facility where we have this 225,000 nm³ per hour of coal gasification plant. You love it. It is, Dr. Piyush Kumar has already visited. Many of you might have visited over there. It is a neat and clean process, no environmental hazard. It is as clean as this room is. And this is what we have to commit for the next generation. So V3G, I'm also in V1, I'm 60 plus, I'm 64 now. So we have a obligation in terms of, as first generation, we have to hand over the baton to the second generation and so on to the third generation. So when we speak today, this will go a long way because we are the people, those who are going to impact a lot on the policies formulation. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Our next speaker is Mr. Rajiv Agrawal, who is working as Director in Engineers India Limited with various divisions of Technical Directorate under his supervision like Process Design, Research and Development, Environment, Water and Safety, and Sustainability. He graduated from IIT Roorkee in 1988. He has a vast experience and varied experience in the process design in the area of refining, petrochemicals, gas processing, utilities, and offset. He has been involved with various committees of Ministry of Coal, in one roadmap for coal to hydrogen, and also a committee constituted for green hydrogen. I request Mr. Agrawal to deliver his speech.
A very good morning to the dignitaries present here, my co-panelists, and the friends from the industry, ladies and gentlemen. I first of all thank organizers to give me this opportunity on behalf of Engineers India Limited to express my opinion on this very important subject that is facing the entire globe today. See, the climate change is a kind of a global issue. I mean, as has been, it has been discussed in so many forums, Paris meet, then COP26, COP27, and it is a global issue, and scientists across the world are working on this important subject, that how to make how to initiate, how to achieve the decarbonization of the industry and the global processes so as to meet the net zero target and to make this climate livable for us and for our future generations. See, about 36 gigatons of the CO2 emission that is being currently globally being emitted, and this is a very, very vast numbers. Different commitments have been made during the various conferences on this important subject. India has also committed that by 2030, 50% of our energy production will be through the renewable sources, and we are working towards it. The government of India has really putting a lot of initiatives, a lot of policies to achieve this target. See, in order to achieve the decarbonization objective, which is a kind of a final objective that we want to achieve carbon neutrality, and different countries have committed different dates. Some Western countries have committed 2050, India has committed 2070. So there are a lot of pathways to achieve this decarbonization and carbon neutrality. One is definitely the green hydrogen, and I would also say blue hydrogen to some extent. Then the biofuels is one of the pathways. Already, I mean, in India, ethanol blending is being done in the gasoline. 10% biofuel is being blended, and 20% blending is being targeted by 2025. In fact, this target has been advanced from 2030 to 2025. This is again in the kind of a step towards decarbonization. Besides that, I mean, the aviation industry is also looking for use of sustainable aviation fuel by 2027 globally. And maybe, I mean, in India also there are efforts to that the sustainable aviation fuel industry takes off, and maybe it becomes mandatory for even the India. Besides that, another pathway is the electrical mobility. Electric vehicles are definitely being favored by a lot of policies by the government of India. Subsidies are being given for electrical mobility. This is also one of the ways and pathways to reduce the carbon emission and achieve the decarbonization. A lot of efforts are being put up by government of India towards the creating infrastructure for electrical charging facilities, so that people go for more and more for electric vehicles. Two-wheelers, three-wheelers definitely are one of the, you will see that more and more people are going for electric vehicle in at least two-wheelers, three-wheelers segment where the battery is not such of a big problem. But four-wheelers still, I think it has to come up in a big way. Fuel cells also are being, although not so prevalent as of now, but a lot of research is being done in fuel cells area, and it is being being targeted as one of the major methodology for long distance trucking, for which the electric pathway may not be so much of use, and such large batteries may not be available to have long distance trucking. And of course, improvement in the efficiencies of the various processes is also one of the pathways to decarbonize the industry. So all these pathways have their own challenges. Electric vehicles have their own challenges. Biofuels have their own challenges. A lot of aggregation of the waste itself for the biofuels is a very, very big challenge. A lot of plants are coming in the biofuels, and this is where, we are seeing that aggregation of waste is becoming a challenge for the plants that are already under operation. The green hydrogen, therefore hydrogen is definitely, as my earlier panelist also said, that hydrogen is definitely one of the promising pathways for the decarbonization. And hydrogen, my opinion is that both blue hydrogen and green hydrogen will have its own role for the decarbonization. Green hydrogen is a kind of an excellent carrier of energy. It is a very highly energy intensive. It has an energy intensity of 3 times that of natural gas. And hydrogen as such, if you look at it, the consumption of hydrogen, I mean, the worldwide production of hydrogen is about 90 million tons. And majority of that, about 90% of it actually goes into, 85 to 90% of it actually goes into refining and fertilizer industry. India also, this is a similar scenario where we have about 5.5 million tons of hydrogen production in the country, and about 2.5 million tons of that hydrogen actually goes into the refining industry mainly for hydroprocessing, I would say, hydrocracking, so to convert the heavy molecules to lighter molecules, and for treating the fuels to make them suitable for BS6 compliant fuel. So there is a lot of possibility of, as Mr. Piyush also said, that there is a lot of possibility of replacing this hydrogen, which is being used, especially in the refining sector, to green hydrogen. And a lot of efforts are already being done in this direction, that refineries are putting a lot of efforts to replace their hydrogen requirement, replace their hydrogen, which is currently produced by the gray hydrogen mechanism, because most of the refineries are either using naphtha to convert to produce hydrogen for meeting their requirement, or they are using natural gas. So it either fits into the definition of brown hydrogen or gray hydrogen. So refineries are setting up, I would not say that they are commercial plants, they are what is being set is basically set up, they are the demonstration level plants, 10 megawatt, 20 megawatt, 50 megawatt plants, which will only meet about 5% or 10% of the current hydrogen demands of these refineries. As EL, we are also working on some of these green hydrogen projects. We are setting up a 10 megawatt demonstration plant for Gas Authority of India Limited at their Vijaypur plant, and another 20 megawatt green hydrogen project we are working for Bina refinery in Madhya Pradesh. So another industry, I think, which will have will be benefited from the hydrogen, and which is definitely one of the major emitter of the CO2 is the steel industry. For every ton of steel produced, about 2.5 tons of CO2 it produces. So it is a very highly emitter, contributing about 7 to 8% of the global CO2 emission, I mean the steel and the cement put together. And as Mr. Sharma also told that, I mean, this is what is being looked as one of the major usage of the hydrogen to reduce the coking coal consumption for steel making, which has a lot of CO2 emissions, and replacing it with hydrogen, either with the syngas, which is definitely, which also has a carbon footprint, but definitely lesser than the coking coal. And maybe the target will be increasing the hydrogen content in this syngas to make it, let us say, CO2 free at some point of the time. So I'm also happy to share you that we are working with Jindal Steel's plant on this as a part of this process to make this steel plant, the DRI plant that they are taking up for making this steel industry towards the decarbonization pathway. Now the question is that, whether really, what is the real pathway to go forward, whether it will be a green hydrogen, blue hydrogen. Green hydrogen has a lot of challenges in itself, that the electrolyzer is the main heart of the green hydrogen, because that is what electrolyzes the water with the use of power to generate hydrogen. And there are the electrolyzer technology, although it is a quite old technology, but then with concern to efficiencies and the kind of efficiencies that are required to make it commercially viable, those are still in infancy. A lot of technologies like alkaline, PEM technology, then anion-based technologies, even solid oxide state SOC technology is being developed for the electrolyzers. But all these technologies are still in the infancy of their development. And the capacities available for these electrolyzer capacity is also very small. 1 gigawatt factory or 2 gigawatt factory, that is what the kind of numbers that still the industry is looking for. But I must share with you that if you want to replace even for a average refinery, it will require about 500 megawatt of power to replace the entire hydrogen with green hydrogen. So that way, actually the requirement for replacing to green hydrogen with the electrolyzer capacity requirement is very huge, which is definitely not there in the entire globe. And still people are talking of just 1 gigawatt or 2 gigawatt factories that are to be set up. Then the capex of these electrolyzers today is definitely very, very high. The pilot plant that I shared with you, the cost of even for a 10 megawatt, 20 megawatt is running in 200, 300 crores of rupees. And the modules available for these electrolyzers are just 5 megawatt modules at the most. And therefore, in order to meet the commercial requirements, you have to put so many modules in the plant. And I think one of the major challenges is the intermittency of this power supply, whether it is a wind energy or solar energy. And while the usage is on a 24 hours basis. So the storage, either at the energy storage or the hydrogen storage, is definitely something which is very, very important to have the industries running continuously 24 hours based on green hydrogen. And as a result of this, the cost of hydrogen that is prevalent today is about 4 to 5 times the gray hydrogen cost, and therefore the economics make it very prohibitive to use green hydrogen. At the same time, now the blue hydrogen, which is the subject for today, is also not free of challenges. Because the CO2 capture technologies, there are a lot of CO2 capture technologies depending upon what is the CO2 concentration, what pressure the CO2 is available. As Mr. Sharma said, the gasification provides the opportunity that the CO2 capture can be done at a high pressure, for which very established technologies are available. But let us say for majority of the CO2 that is either emitted from the power plant or even from the various processes within the refineries or the other industries, the CO2 is actually almost in the form of flue gas at atmospheric pressure. And along with the other contaminants like H2S, SO2 and maybe other sulfur species, So, I mean, the capture of that CO2 requires the technologies. Those technologies, I would say, some of them have achieved commercial production, commercial capability, but still there are many, many technologies that are being worked out, and people are working on these technologies. These technologies as such are also very, very costly at this point of time, in the sense that the solvent-based technologies require a lot of energy for regeneration of the solvent, and therefore it results in a lot of cost. At the same time, in the blue hydrogen, I think the biggest issue is the utilization of the CO2 that is captured. So although the technologies are available, let us say, for CO2 capture, but how to utilize that CO2 produced, which I think was Mr. Sharma also highlighted, is one of the major issues for the CO2 capture. And there are some pathways available, like enhanced oil recovery, which can be used for in the depleted wells, where we can inject CO2 into those wells to increase the production. Or some wells can be used for even which are not in use, to store that CO2. And some, let us say, the pilot projects are underway. I mean, something is being done by Indian Oil for their operations in the Eastern India, and even IOCL is setting up a project in west part of the India from the Gujarat refinery by capturing CO2. So, but these are still kind of a pilot projects, and so much of CO2 that will be captured, it will not find a kind of a destination in those areas. Another probably good way, on which is a large potential, is the sequestration of CO2 in the basins. And a lot of studies are being undertaken. We are also associated with a study being carried out by IIT Bombay along with a Norwegian university, wherein these issues are being looked into, because it has its also own, although I mean it is said that in India itself there is a potential of about 600 gigatons of CO2 storage in these basins. But then this storage also has a lot of challenges in terms of leakages, how much of that CO2 will actually, for what time it will remain stored and then it may come out. Those kind of answers need to be done before, starting this CO2 sequestration. And another is the chemical pathway, which I think Mr. Sharma was also talking, that CO2 to methanol, CO2 to maybe methane, and CO2 to even syn fuels, which is also being talked of, to convert it to diesel, gasoline, and so yeah, I mean, again, the technologies and the catalyst for this kind of a conversion is available are also very, very limited at this point of time. Most of them are in, I would say, TRL level of 3 to 4 and still not commercially proven. So, I mean, so CO2 sequestration, CO2 utilization is definitely one of the challenges associated with the blue hydrogen. But the good part is that the cost of blue hydrogen is definitely much, much less than the green hydrogen. It is costing maybe only 1.5 times the gray hydrogen cost. And therefore, it gives some hope that CO2, blue hydrogen may be one of the transitional pathways, if not the final way to achieve the decarbonization. Okay, I mean, just in 2-3 minutes So as, coal gas, besides that, I think, of course, there are some challenges. That safety is also one of the issues, that when you bring hydrogen in for transportation in form of fuel cells, then it comes in the public domain. I mean, the safety, definitely, we need to have a lot of standards, codes for safe utilization of hydrogen when it comes out of the industry bounds. So, and gasification, I think coal gasification is definitely one of the pathways to generate blue hydrogen, as told by Mr. Sharma, that it is a very, very efficient process, where I think gasification itself utilizes about, can convert it to syngas at the efficiency more than 80%. And where the hydrogen produced from the syngas can be definitely as a blue hydrogen, or even other products like methanol. We are also working on one of the projects for Navali Lignite Corporation for converting lignite to methanol through the coal gasification route. And thus, I think gasification gives a definitely one of the major hopes for generating blue hydrogen in the future. I think these green policies of the, I think government has to aid these processes of decarbonization by the policy making, and I think that is what government is doing also. The recently announced green hydrogen mission is definitely one of the steps in this direction. And we are working with the coal ministry on this subject, that we are pitching for that the blue hydrogen may also be incentivized in this policy, so that the blue hydrogen plant come up as a kind of a transitional plant for next 1 to 2 decades at least, to support the decarbonization industry. So that is all I want to say, that blue hydrogen is a good transitional pathway to net zero, considering the economies of green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, but still there are many challenges which need to be resolved. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your covering hydrogen. In this series of panel experts, after the existing operator, JSPL, and then the engineering consultant, the next speaker is Mr. Bala Saheb Dharade, who is Managing Director of New Era Clean Tech Solutions Private Limited. You must have heard about the coal gasification projects going to come up in Maharashtra. Mr. Dharade, after having a successful career as an entrepreneur, consultant, and nanotechnologist in USA, Bala Saheb returned back to India with passion of using technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation for sustainable solution with purpose, people, planet, and profit at its core. Currently, at New Era Clean Tech, Bala Saheb is on a mission to make coal gasification a commercial success to realize India's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Mr. Bala Saheb Dharade. I will request speakers to kindly restrict to 10 minutes so that we can have in time.
India's challenges in becoming Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, are many. High level of imports of chemical feedstock and urea. Price fluctuations in the international market leading to inflation. India's commitment towards NEC under Paris Agreement 2016. Coal gasification presents a great opportunity for India's transition to Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is not only a clean technology, but makes use of India's vast unexplored coal reserves.
कोल गैसिफिकेशन को भारत की आवश्यकता के अनुसार इनोवेशन के साथ कैसे आ सकते हैं, हम प्रयास कर रहे हैं.
We are a passionate organization with a singular focus to set up the gasification plants in line with the national mission. Announcing
No worries. So we recently signed the MOU at World Economic Forum with Government of Maharashtra. So I will just walk through the video. And yeah. So this is the land allocated to us by Government of Maharashtra. You can see the river, and there is a railway station, so we have rail siding in our land. So thank you very much, Piyush, Dr. Piyush, Alokji, and the earlier speakers, Mr. Agarwal, and from the V generation, Mr. V.R. Sharma and Mr. Agarwalji, to passing on to the 2G generation. So, and thanks for setting up like the journey of your generation to get coal gasification, showing that coal gasification is a commercial possibility and success, to making syngas producing gray the gray hydrogen. So our generation, I mean, we want to take that to blue hydrogen, and by the time our net zero goal of 2070, as you mentioned, to reach to the green hydrogen. So thank you very much for everyone for listening. And if you don't mind, I would like to request everyone to stand up and just sit down, if possible, whoever can do so, maybe just loosening up a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. And also those who can raise your right hand and turn it back and then pat your back. So we have to encourage ourselves, like the people in this room, like on this journey to achieve the Atmanirbhar Bharat. And we truly believe that Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-sufficient India, cannot be possible without coal gasification. So I would say this is a revolution, this is a time-bound opportunity, the right time, and you have been all, your career has been in this field and have been dedicating your time and energy and resources. So thanks from our 2G generation. And I would like to, yes, I will just briefly, so this is a metaphor of a gasification industry, right? I mean, we have heard a lot of things from Mr. V.R. Sharma, so I will just move ahead. So as we know, our challenges in terms of 40% of our imports, in India's imports are in oil, natural gas, and petrochemicals. So we are targeting that. Our power demands are increasing. And of course, we like imports in different, and having the coal on one side. So I will just quickly run through this. So one of the things that I want to mention is if all imported oil and gas is to be replaced with coal, we need 1,300 million metric ton per gasification. So, and the Prime Minister's mission, which is 100 million, to gasify 100 million coal by 2030. So we have a long way, and we have a long mission ahead. So as I mentioned, we truly believe that Atmanirbhar Bharat cannot be complete without gasification, and we think that this is the right time in terms of right time in terms of the energy transition. The events happen globally with different events in the world, and leadership that we have right now. And some of the key policy developments, you all must know that the National Coal Gasification Mission to gasify 100 million metric ton coal, preferential auction policy, and so on. So this is the kind of different products and value chain. So today, we are focusing on hydrogen. So I won't go into much details, but just so here using the, everybody knows coal and oxygen, ASU, and using. But the thing I want to focus on also, having the CCUS, if having the right CCUS solutions in that's the part we need to work. And on the hydrogen economy side, hydrogen injection in a current natural gas infrastructure, having the plants at the pit head, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Sharma, and then putting, so those from that to different, and to the new economies which can come in the, of course, from steel, oil and gas, fertilizers, to the transportation and mobility. So we are as mentioned earlier, we are planning this project. We are fairly new organization. New Era is about 10 months to 1 year, but we had a journey from 2016. So that time I was advisor to government of Maharashtra, and there was a US company who wanted to come and put a plant in Maharashtra, but it did not work out. So that time, the then Chief Minister and Mr. Gadkari, they were spearheading this project. So then we since then we have been trying, and 2019 when we were traveling with Honorable Prime Minister to United Nations General Assembly, and follow on to that in the Bloomberg conference where he mentioned about this need of coal gasification. So that's where we got more team of venture capitalists and different investors, policymakers to come together, and we formed this company about a year back, and already you will see there has been some good progress. And so this is our plan to use like have a 5 million metric ton of coal, and some of the products that we are looking is DME. We are hoping high on dimethyl, DME, and then some hydrogen, some urea, and so I will just keep this for the. So we have, this is our like some of our team members, Mr. Agarwal from Shubhalakshmi Polyesters. So one of his unit he recently sold to Reliance. Mr. Gopi has also got a big exit with JLL. So he has invested in 70 companies, and he was also topper in UDCT. Mr. Clark, who had tried doing a gasification in US, and he has been with the Blackstone Energy Group. We have Dr. Rajan with us. He's also advisor who was CMD RCF and was working from his time, and with Talcher is a result of that, Talcher gasification, and there are more people. So this is our like approach in terms of how we look at it. So there are mainly like 4 things. One is land and infrastructure, where we have got a very good positive support from state government and local utilities and support. From that, and then last is offtake. So having coal as input, and then offtake with private and public sector, and technology. So we have like, these are the 4 blocks in that way. So first block is already we have achieved our goals, and now we are in the process and looking for in terms of securing the coal, and talking for different offtakes and policies which can. So that's where, I mean, those are the things that we are looking forward. So we signed MOU with the government of Maharashtra, and also Maharashtra cabinet approved our project as a special anchor project, as ultra mega project, and the land is allocated near the coal pit head. So this is in the WCL area near Bhadravati. So we have different coal mines that we have looked at, high level feasibility of those mines, and we have a good river going on, and there is we have a rail siding in our land, and there is a nearby national highway. So in terms of is close to Nagpur also. One of the thing was when Mr. Gadkari was in talking about making Nagpur as a first hydrogen city with logistics hub, and those are also some of the things we are looking at, the current natural gas pipeline coming there. So we have been in conversation with a lot of service provider, technology players, and we have been making a good progress. Right from some of the Japanese technologies. You must have seen that J-Power recently have last month announced a $2.2 billion project for gasifying the Australian coal and making a blue hydrogen and shipping it to Japan. So we are talking to them, to the US technology providers and different people. So some of the milestones, and today as we see that there are the story looks good, but we need support, and we need a lot of now in terms of policy support, and we have to make this more lucrative for investors and people to come and to make it a reality. To make this a reality. So number one is we need in terms of coal from Ministry of Coal and Coal India to have a coal coal linkage at least at a power price. So secured coal linkage, and which is mine fixed, because as a coal gasification source is very important to have a consistent supply of coal from at least one or single or at least 2 sources for long term. And Also, there is that cess of 400 rupees. So that should be waived for gasification, as if we go towards blue hydrogen, making it, trying to be more cleaner. So without that, I mean, without this strong support from on the coal side, moving on to such projects is not possible. The second is offtake through the current natural gas pipelines, and with the policy, we have been talking to Petroleum Ministry on potentially having 20% mixing of DME in LPG. So like that, things like that will have to be, that needs to be expedited. Third is incentives on different, like tax side or viability gap funding, or like on a carbon credit. I mean, internationally we see in US and Europe, carbon credit market is matured, and also as rightly mentioned by Dr. Sharma, that mapping, like where to use that captured carbon. So having that as there's a map and infrastructure developed for that. And also, I mean, right now, if you say mobility or transportation, hydrogen is a chicken and egg situation. I mean, who will first, hydrogen or infrastructure? So that's where, I mean, we have decided we are moving towards hydrogen. Green hydrogen we want to reach, but blue hydrogen is the way. And it is the only way we think that, because blue hydrogen gives the scale to be able to invest into the infrastructure and build that national infrastructure. So another is also on policy. Right now we had a national green hydrogen policy. So our request is it should be like blue and green should be treated as equal. So the incentives and offerings which are there for green, for now till the time green hydrogen catches up, so it should be, so there should be that move in terms of having that as a policy. Other thing is on the R&D, like we secured little more land than we required, because in part of the portion we would like to invite, I mean, we have been talking to IIT, Mumbai and different people internationally to come and to create a center of excellence, to create an innovation hub for the carbon capture and other related innovative technologies. And in this field, we think we need to have a collaborative approach of the industry, government and academia to come together and driven equally by everyone, so that we can have more thirst on and work towards CCUS and common infrastructure and push this. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and thank you all of you, and we are very motivated and we look forward for all of your inputs and suggestions, and particularly those who are already in the field. And another is, as mentioned, on the policy side and support side, there are those 5-6 points. Those are very critical points, and we believe that with this we should be able to achieve the goals for net zero for green hydrogen via blue hydrogen, and we strongly believe this is the only way, and this is very achievable. And we have been talking to a lot of investors and who are part of our team, who are our network. So there is a lot of interest now. People realizing this is the practical solution, and this is the way for country like us. And there is a limited time gap, so it is not the opportunity forever. It is just I mean, if you have to achieve 100 million metric ton coal gasification by 2030, we have to start in these 2 years. Otherwise, there has to be more and more projects coming up. So thank you again, and we are looking forward to interact with you, all of you more.
Actually, we are leave for a flight, so he will be leaving. If anyone wants to ask any question, he can ask. By the time I will like to introduce our next speaker, I always believe that coal gasification in the panel, unless you have somebody expert from oil sector, you cannot have a good panel. So I introduce Saloma Yamdo, who is my batchmate at IIT ISM Dhanbad. He is Executive Director of Oil India, and he is heading the Exploration and Development Directorate of Oil India Limited. He is responsible for exploration and development activities for India and offshore, We used to see him lead singer of our college, but now I think that it is a nice time to listen to him. If anyone has any question to ask, otherwise V.R. Sharma Sahib is interested to.
Yes, sir.
एक माइक दे दीजिए उधर में.
Myself Abdul Kalam, ex-CMD from Eastern Coalfield, Director Coal India. Virat Reddy sits in the same office. I was there, and then so many August people in this. And you.
Yes, sir.
For a very good paper you presented. In fact, I was very happy when I started my career. Coal was the king, and today everybody is abusing coal because of this. So many climate changes, all attributed to coal. But coal has made civilizational change in the world, the World War II and then its revolution, then the whole Europe changed. But the coal is the whipping boy today. But you have made it king again. I'm thankful to you for your speech. The two things came out to me. If you can give some highlights on the profitability, I know you are a private sector, you will not be able to spell out things on profitability. And then, why it is blue, why it is green? Because hydrogen, does it change color after this conversion from coal to hydrogen, or it's just nomenclature? I wanted to understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
curiosity,
sir.
because
Yes,
me and Mr. Jha, he's the CMD, and we went to Australia to see coal gas underground. It was all, we are disappointed to see there was nothing working there, and still underground gas is a dream, pipe dream. So
Yes.
this looks to me a future. I thank you very much. There is a proverb in this by this Garibi mulk mein ki you have to go for cheap fuel, affordable fuel, and coal is affordable fuel. So I would like your comment on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I'm obliged that you are here and you asked me this question, given me opportunity to speak. I'll tell you, first of all, the hydrogen does not have any color. It is a colorless gas with the lightest gas available in the universe and in abundance. The atomic weight is 0.00478, which enables hydrogen to transport energy in much faster and better way without any loss. This is a very good reductant gas. The blue, grey and green has been given by some of the European scientists, because they say that if you produce hydrogen through a green electricity, that is either hydroelectric or solar or wind, then this will be treated as green hydrogen, means electricity, then water electrolysis process or any other process, and then finally making H2. The blue is hydrogen produced through any route, whether it's natural gas or coal. Finally, the CO2 is captured, that is blue, and the grey, where there is no CO2 is captured, and that is called grey. We can make hydrogen, and we can inject the CO2 anywhere in the world, and still it is treated as grey. So these are the nomenclatures only, but the properties are similar. The gas does not change. So these are classifications or nomenclature. And rightly said by you that coal was king. Yes, coal will remain always a king. The only uses of coal are changing, as rightly said by Honorable Prime Minister in this speech, what Mr. Dade has shown, that we have to find the methodology, and we have to find the new technology to convert coal into gas. And I'm very happy BHEL is working on this in India. Many other private sector organizations, they are also working in this particular campaign to convert coal into gas. One more thing I'll tell to the House. We are working very actively with the Australian company, we'll be declaring it soon, to go for underground coal gasification. We are already doing in India coal bed methane, CBM. So the underground coal gasification will change the perception, the world. We don't have to take out coal. We have to go for underground coal gasification wherever we find that the coal seams are available for more than 100 meters and down. So up to 100 meters it will not be effective, but 100 meters and below, we can convert the entire coal into coal gasification. And this time will come very soon. So we are working with 2 companies in Australia. They have already tested and tried this particular methodology. And once we do it, then the coal mining will not be required, because there are many coal mines in the country, those are lying abundant, or the coal is burning under the earth. So all these
coal gas can be recovered through the underground coal gasification. So there is a great future. I again repeat, God has given us too many things. We have a habit that we don't have anything. We have too many things in the country. We are the best of the best scientists available in the country. We are the best of the best engineers available in the country. We have a best company in terms of the government organizations, those who are working day in, day night, be it NTPC or be it Coal India or be it any other subsidiary of Coal India. All are working in the same direction. So direction now is properly laid, policies are formulated. I am sure under the leadership of the present government, Prime Minister of India, Honorable Modi ji, the country will grow further. This is what I can tell. Thank you very much. In case of any more questions, may I leave?
Yeah, we will have questions later. I will request our session chair to give a memento to Sri V.R. Sharma sir. Prati sir. Now I request Mr. Saloma Yamdo, Executive Director, Oil India Limited.
Baton has been handed over to V2, generation 2. So this is the baton.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
जी हाँ जी.
Good afternoon, respected Session Chair Alok Parti sir, esteemed speakers on the dais, my college friend Piyush, respected seniors and stalwarts of the industry present here, and my dear friends. First and foremost, it's an extreme honor and a privilege to be standing here in front of you actually, because originally my CMD was supposed to be speaking in this session. It was just yesterday when it was informed that he has to rush to Assam for some important meetings, and that's the reason I was told to fill in, and these are very, very big shoes to fill. I can tell you that, because he himself would have been a very, very competent and effective speaker on this occasion. But then what's to be done has been done, and frankly, I'm no expert in this. So when I was told the topic is something about blue hydrogen, sir, I was confused like as you are. I said, I have never seen such a colorful, colorful business where you have almost every color with relation to hydrogen. And then, as I said, I'm not an expert. I'm basically an exploiter. I explore, I produce oil and gas for a starving nation which needs more and more each day. So those other aspects are the least of my concerns at the moment. But then keeping in pace with the times and keeping the transition, keeping in mind the transition which is happening worldwide, and it's also quite evident that it's happening in the country. We are also in the transition process as Oil India Limited. When I say I or we, I refer to Oil India Limited. And we have made some small steps towards this transition as per the mandate given by the Government of India, as per mandate of Honorable Prime Minister. Like we forayed already, I think we were the first to foray into wind and energy in the country. So we are currently having a token presence of about 190 megawatts of solar and wind in the states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat. And as our various speakers were speaking, I was just trying to jot down some points based on which I could further deliberate if I thought that I could add on something to it. And after foraying into solar, wind, then I'm very happy to share that we went into this two-pronged strategy for green hydrogen. The two-pronged strategy is, of course, one is energy independence, and the second is net zero ambitions. So with that objective, we went to green hydrogen. Exactly a year before this, I remember that 20th April 2022, Oil India produced the first green hydrogen in the country. It was a small step, 10 kg pilot project. When I say small step, एक बहुत बड़ा पुरानी वो dialogue याद आ जाती है. A small step for man, but a giant step for mankind, a giant leap for mankind. So I remember those words when I speak about this. So that was the first green hydrogen which we produced in one of our pump stations, where we transport, the pump station is used for pumping keeping the pipeline pumping, the oil pipeline. So there we have solar powered facilities. So that is where we produced green hydrogen for the first time. And that green hydrogen has also been used as a fuel in the fuel cell for making a bus run on a hybrid mode. And this bus was also inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister in the India Energy Week in February 2023 this year in Bangalore. So we are planning to use that bus as a green bus running on green hydrogen in the green corridor of Kaziranga in Assam, where between Jorhat and Kaziranga, because there is a very eco-sensitive zone. And apart from that, the green hydrogen that we are now trying to scale up, already we have completed a project with IIT Guwahati to see how this hydrogen blends with natural gas, especially taking into account the infrastructure, the pipelines, the fittings, the valves. And we are now utilizing 2% of hydrogen in the blended gas to cater to our housing society. We have a small housing society in Jorhat for the pipeline. So this is where we are starting in a small scale, like I say, the small step. The next one is now we are going to go to 5% blending of hydrogen with natural gas, which is being supplied by the Assam Gas Corporation. So that is about the green hydrogen, which we are already into it, and we are trying to go ahead with that. Somebody mentioned about, people who were talking about coal gasification. We also had done, just an honorable mention actually, we had also done a pilot on coal liquefaction. So it was a 25 kg coal pilot plant for coal liquefaction, CTL, direct liquefaction of coal. Obviously, because the Northeast coal seems to be very favorable for coal liquefaction, because of the high ash and low sulfur content. And we have been able to achieve good breakthrough in extracting liquid from coal. The only issue is that the economics is one of the major factors. So as long as the crude oil price is above $130 or $140 per barrel, the economics doesn't work out. And then, of course, we have to mention about our recent acquisition, which is the Numaligarh Refinery Limited. So now Oil India is a completely vertically integrated energy company, right from exploration to downstream refining and marketing. So Numaligarh Refinery has a capacity of 3 million tons per annum as of now, but is now expanding to 9 million ton per annum capacity, and this is going to be, we are going to commission this expansion by January 2025. And along with that, we are also commissioning the India's biggest biorefinery by March 2024, which will generate biofuels. So which will actually generate ethanol. So this is going to be almost 50,000 tons per annum of ethanol per year. So this is going to be the biggest biorefinery which is going to come up in India. So if we talk of Numaligarh Refinery, everybody is aware, we have been discussing this in the morning itself. It uses, the refinery currently with a 3 million ton capacity utilizes about 48,000 tons of hydrogen. And that's primarily for hydrocracking, as was mentioned. So this, again, 48,000 tons is going to increase significantly 3 times when we increase the refining capacity to almost 3 times. So this hydrogen which is being generated, this was already mentioned, this is from the gas that is used as the primary source in the refinery. So methane plus water converted creates carbon monoxide and 3 hydrogen. What they call the steam methane reforming reaction. And then, of course, there's a water gas reaction from where the CO plus H2 gives you CO2 and additional H2. So a huge amount of CO2 is being produced. And if there's no facility to store or sequester that CO2, what are you going to do with it? I don't know what the others are planning, but what we are planning is that we are thinking that this CO2 could be used as an alternative to jet fuel. So we are thinking of maybe utilizing this CO2 for synthetic aviation fuel. So what happens is that when you mix CO2 with water and co-hydrolyze it, and then you produce syngas. And that syngas, it goes through a Fischer-Tropsch bioreactor or reactor, and that gives you synthetic aviation fuel. So synthetic aviation fuel is still a good option because that itself is going to be an alternative for jet fuel, which will in turn reduce greenhouse emission significantly. So if you can't sequester or store it, the other thing is, why don't you look at synthetic aviation fuel? So that's the objective with which we are working on currently. And when you talk of sequestering it, so what do we need for that? And then we need to have storage facilities. So we need to have proper sinks. This was mentioned that your reservoir, you should have a reservoir which is intact, which can hold the CO2 without any environmental effects. And that is the next step that we are now trying to look at. So it was also mentioned that CO2 can be used extensively for enhanced oil recovery processes to increase the recovery of oil, to produce more oil. And this is one of the projects we are already working on. ONGC actually has already started. They have, IOCL is providing them the CO2 from the Koyali refinery. Koyali refinery, that's about a 60-kilometer pipeline which goes to Gandhar in Mehsana. So the Gandhar field is getting CO2 from Koyali refinery, and that CO2 they are going to inject to the reservoir, which is going to increase their production as well as recovery factor. And the problem, I'll come to the problem later. Let's talk about the good things first. So that's how you will increase the recovery of oil and gas, and that's a project we are also trying to take up in Assam, in one of our fields. We are contemplating taking the CO2 from Digboi refinery for CO2 EOR. We are also contemplating taking CO2 from Brahmaputra Cracker and Polymer Limited, which is based out of Dibrugarh, where GAIL is operating that cracker plant. They are emitting CO2, so we are thinking of using that CO2 and use a novel technique called carbonated water injection. So in lieu of pure CO2, you use carbonated water injection also as a form of enhanced oil recovery process. So what happens is that in this process, the CO2, 50% as a ballpark number, about 50% of the CO2 gets permanently sequestered. And then 50% of the CO2 comes back to the formation, you recycle it. So that's not a complete sequestration because it's only 50% sequestered, stored. So the best option is to have a permanent sequestration, and for that you really need to have detailed analysis done to identify which reservoir is suitable. We are trying to do that in Assam. We are trying to do that in Rajasthan as well, because Rajasthan has potential, is very sparsely populated. It could be a better option. So we are working on all this. And the biggest problem now is when it comes to sequestration is the cost. As somebody mentioned about the cost of capture. Or ballpark number again, $60 per barrel in the United States per ton of CO2 capture. And the biggest advantage that the US has is they have a policy for this, which is a Section 45Q policy. So for every ton of CO2 that you permanently sequester, you get $80 per ton. For every ton of CO2 that you use for more oil extraction for like EOR, you get $65 per ton as incentive. But that policy is yet to be in India, and this government-driven policies will go a big way in actually incentivizing and encouraging CCUS projects in the country. Because we tried to get one project from Assam Asian Development Bank. Initially, they agreed for a CO2 project, we will give you a fund. We will give you some millions of dollars. Then they said, oh, you are going to use this for post-COP26. Within 6 months, they started singing a different song. They said, oh, you are going to produce more oil and gas from this project. So no, we are not going to fund you. The next time they said, but if you're going to use it for permanent storage of CO2, oh, we are coming back. We are willing to give you back that money. So that is what is happening. And just wanted to give you all a flavor of what experience we have had and what is currently going on with us. And that's all I have to share. My time is already up. So thank you very much and for your time. Very nice, very great to be here. आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Namaskar.
Thanks, Saloma. It was nice to listen from the perspective from the oil sector on this topic. Our next speaker is Mukund Rajan Lakshmi Narasimham. He is from BHEL, Senior Deputy General Manager, presently assigned as Head of Coal to Chemical Department and Pricing of Boiler Department of High Pressure Boiler Plant Division. So the only Indian technology for coal gasification, he is heading the Trichy plant. So I will request to deliver his lecture. Please be brief for 10 minutes so that we can have some question answer and then we can break.
Thank you, Chair, for giving this opportunity to BHEL to present our view of what is going to happen in the country for the blue hydrogen. Mr. Sharma ji started off the presentation, and probably I don't belong to either Gen 1 or Gen Y. So I'm in between, so I will try to bridge the gap. Coming to the path forward, I would like to also make PCG's work a little bit easy by summarizing what the previous speakers have told in my presentation. Of course, we didn't think that the presentation would go like that, but anyhow, it covers. The first thing is what we need to understand about blue hydrogen. That will be the first part. And what are the constraints which you are experiencing now to go into that blue hydrogen, and what are the promising solutions? So these are the three areas which we would like to present. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. So to put the perspective, this is the historical emission which has happened from 1850s. So we are in a very good position to take global leadership as it comes to being a responsible member. So almost all the countries, advanced countries, have emitted 5 times than what India has done. To put the perspective, we are currently emitting around 3.6 billion tons per annum. One tree can absorb 2.5 metric ton per year. This means we require 1.6 times the area of India to capture the emission which we are emitting. So this is the perspective I thought I will present it, where the challenges is and what we can do for the global thing. Our challenge would be that, as oil members also are there, we are importing, we are highly dependent on import, which puts a resource constraint on our economy. So this is one opportunity area for the coal, the king, to step in where the oil, the queen, is not able to support us. So that is the area which we will try to focus upon and try to build upon. And of course, geopolitics is there to pin us down on the prices of these very valuable commodity. Opportunity lies that our renewable resource is catching up very good. We are able to achieve a very low energy prices at the current auction. But whether this will be sustainable in the future or it will stay through is one more dependency, because the raw materials for producing this green energy, again, it is going to be imported. We know lithium is very much available only outside. In India, we did have a few recent find in Kashmir, but then the geopolitics also would come in there. So this being the constraints which we are having, we will have to be very careful when we go our policy towards the transition to the blue hydrogen. As summarized by our AL person, we are very happy that the consumptions is now focused only in refinery and ammonia. So that is where we are going to, and it is going to witness definitely a growth coming in the future. That is, I am targeting a next decade or next 2 decades down. So this is the potential area where already the hydrogen is going to be used. Because for any new technology to come in, there has to be a subsidy or some sort of subsistence for the product to be sold and subsidied. So these are the industry which we are focusing from the industry point of view, who can bring in this technology, support this new technology. So somebody was very much critical about how the color shades have been defined. So, but before going to the shades, how it has been defined, let us look at what are the possible pathways where the hydrogen can be produced. Steam reforming of the natural gas, partial oxidation of the petroleum coke, gasification of the coal, which is the subject which we would be talking, pyrolysis and electrolysis. Electrolysis is a well-known subject, but as Piyushji told, it requires 55 kilowatt hour of electricity. So it is going to be a very tough process by electricity to split the hydrogen atom from the original source. Steam reforming is a very good known, well matured product, a well matured technology, but the price volatility of the feed is the most important thing. To put the perspective to the audience, 80% of the cost of production of a hydrogen is only dependent on the natural gas prices. But the capex is only 20%. But if you come to the coal side, it is going to be the reverse. 80% is going to be your capex, and 20% is going to be your opex. So that is a perspective which we would like to present in. So the question is coming, why the opex is very high? Now if you look at the different shades which I would like to summarize, it is not the shade which is important, it is the amount of CO2 that is going to be net going out of the process which is important. So if you look at the extreme end, it is not, they say that there is not going to be potential zero GHG emission. But please understand, in electrolysis, there we need to manufacture the components. So if you look at the lifetime CO2 emission, it comes to around very close to 2 kg per amount of hydrogen produced over the life cycle. Because the process involved to bring the product, electrolysis component, everything, that also is a CO2 emission is involved. So if you have to look at the lifetime process, because nowadays it is not only greenhouse gas which is going to be a potential situation, which is we are now currently experiencing. Tomorrow's world, 2047, is not going to be about CO2, it is going to be about water. So we need to also factor in this one particular aspect, that water stressed area in India is also becoming one of the key points. Why I am stressing these two aspects is, coal is one of the potential answer to that. Because people only see coal as carbon, but we also see it has got a good amount of hydrogen. The biomass is one more area where it can be a very neutral carbon provider, because we are going to recycle the plants, which is going to be renewed every year. So if the concept of brown and gray is that you are going to emit at least 11 tons of CO2 per ton of hydrogen produced. Whereas if you go to the blue hydrogen, when you consider that it is going to be captured, you are going to come down to around 0.2 tons. So this is the numbers which we will have to keep in mind when you go for the next pathways. So we have seen what is the definition of these shades, but if you look at the cost, because everything comes with a cost. So that cost, if you look at, presently it is very high. That is the point, because the maturity of the electrolysis process is now only it is going to happen. Now people are putting very good effort in trying to improve the technology. For producing hydrogen, high temperature solid fuel cell based processes is going to be very much efficient, because if you look at the normal electrolysis, it is as poor as 20 to 30% only to convert the energy to hydrogen. So people would be looking at towards high temperature process. Why I am underlining this high temperature process is, coal indirectly has the heat already inbuilt into it. So we will be efficiently utilizing the heat of the coal, basically from the carbon, trying to have the resource built in by the hydrogen, which is also available in coal, to minimize the amount of water resource which is going to be required. So going forward, it is not purely going to be green hydrogen alone, but a gasification blue hydrogen also has to pitch in. So that is how we BHL look at coexistence of this blue and hydrogen next decade. And probably by the 2050s, where the technology is very much established for the green hydrogen with the high efficiency solutions, probably people might have a situation. So there is going to be a coexistence. And what is that BHL is planning to contribute in this value chain is, we already have a very good technology, indigenous technology, which is going to produce syngas without significant emissions or pollution products. So that is what we are trying to bring in. This process would efficiently convert into syngas without producing tar or any effluent requirement or very minimal water treatment requirement. So that is the value addition which BHL is trying to bring in. And not only that, processes which will also co-utilize biomass. So this is one of the value addition which we are trying to bring into the users, that a carbon neutral product like biomass can be co-fired or co-gasified, I would say, to bring in the thing. So the solution is, we do have a pathway where we can step up as a first stepping stone to use the coal in 100%, transit to having seasonal usage of biomass when it is going to be very much economically attractive, because biomass has a higher amount of hydrogen in it. So whatever water, instead of using water which is very required for human survival, to take from the resources which is already having high hydrogen is the pathway, very good pathway for the usage in particular in India. looking at how we are going to improve the process of improving the hydrogen from the existing coal, there is an optimum range which we have come out of various trials we have undertaken at BHL's research facility at Hyderabad, that if you are able to enhance the amount of steam, then the production of hydrogen almost doubles. So this is what we are really targeting at and trying to enhance the amount of hydrogen from the basic process, not trying to improve the steam within a reaction, which is the downstream, which is fairly well established, but try to improve the process upstream, use the heat energy in a very potential good way to convert into chemical. This is the value addition we are trying to bring in. Already we are on the path to develop 2 variants, which we will shortly bringing into the various discussions to the users like coal and other personalities. So to sum up, as somebody speakers earlier told, China has already been a great player utilizing the gray hydrogen. So India has not even started it. So at least we should now catch up, try to start, have a good facility for gray, then try to go into the economics. So China is able to claim a higher amount of values addition in country because they are able to have an indigenous technology base. So with this August graduation policy thing, we should try to encourage indigenous technology because it would tend to reduce the overall capex requirement. So the demand is going to be almost I will say quadrupled by 2050. And definitely coal, hydrogen produced from coal is going to be one of the key drivers in India. We are assessing the situation like that. Definitely it can be the stepping gap till the green energy prices, green hydrogen prices come down. So with this small thing, I would like to present it.
I think we've heard all the experts, the speakers on various subjects. Now, since there is a shortage of time, I would request the audience to seek their queries and questions at lunchtime. These gentlemen, you can capture them, hold them, imprison them, whatever you want, and ask them questions. We have 5 speakers here. To begin with, Mr. Sharma, who gave a very, I would say, highly spirited kind of approach, virtually telling this is the way forward, so why is it that the government can't see it? He virtually said that. But I would say that very good suggestions had been made. But some of them were way beyond any imagination, like putting up pipelines for the transportation of carbon dioxide and one more, hydrogen. It's as I said right in the beginning, you please think of various steps, and if those steps involve investment, then merely saying it should be done is not enough. But I think the suggestion is there. He again stressed on the point of, I think every speaker has stressed on, and that is carbon capture and utilization. It seems as if the solution really lies in gasifying coal, using it in some way. Mr. Sharma suggested IGCC. IGCC may be used, I do not know why it has not really been picked up, but yes, it started in US. For some reasons it didn't succeed. Then Japanese took it up. Yes, the efficiencies go up from 54 to 56, 57%. That also is known. But why is it that it didn't really take off? There are experiments of IGCC done in this country also. But Selection is nodding his head, so I know it's BHEL, I didn't want to say it. But it was done in a very short, but again, there were problems in fuel availability and various other things. We acknowledge the fact that if you produce hydrogen from coal, you got to go parallel to see utilization of the CO2 emitted. There is no escape from that. It's an area which requires tremendous amount of investment from the R&D point of view. The second speaker, Mr. Rajiv Agarwal, very rightly and correctly said that all the things that you are doing on a micro level, virtually on an experimental laboratory level. Once you succeed, the escalation is a technological challenge. How do you escalate? If you can do it on a laboratory level, escalation becomes a massive technological problem. We need huge amount of investment. Where is it that money is going to come from? Somebody suggested, I think last speaker also suggested it repeatedly, and others, I think my friend Bala Sahib also, saying you inject incentives, you subsidize. Well, if you look at China, look at the way US is trying to do it as well. Everybody is saying that you've got to fill that viability gap somehow. We can make an appeal, but it requires very good amount. Traditionally, low money is being put into, very less money is being put into R&D and to research. And what we are asking for, tripling it, doubling it, maybe 10 times more. So, we have had wonderful suggestions, but they all are in the shape of things that are experimented at small scale. What we are looking for is large scale. We want to say, okay, Mr. Sharma very rightly said, let's produce hydrogen at the pit head. Well said. If you look at the way the people have been talking, they are saying, okay, replacement of thermal power, let's do it by atomic energy. Let's do it by nuclear plants. So, various things are being talked about. So, if we are going to have hydrogen at the pit head, immediately all these problems come up. What are you going to do with the carbon dioxide? Happening and what needs to be done. But to be able to take it forward, I think the missing factor is understanding investment. There is where we are, and I would like to leave it at that because I am not an economist and I have no idea as to what it would take to make a pipeline to transport carbon dioxide or hydrogen. I just don't know. So, thank you very much, and I would like to conclude here. I have to do the honors, so please be seated. I would like to hand over the mementos to the speakers, if you can bring them one by one, and then you can conclude, okay?
Thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening and knowledgeable technical session on meeting the challenges blue hydrogen. Now I request Sri Alok Parthi sir, former Secretary, Ministry of Coal, to felicitate the distinguished speakers of this session with a memento. Sri Rajiv Agarwal, Director Engineer, India Limited. Sri Saloma Yamdo, Executive Director, Oil India Limited. Shri Bala Sahib Darade, Managing Director, New Era Clean Tech. Shri M. Lakshmi Narsimhan, DGM, BHEL. Thank you so much, sir. Now I take the opportunity to request Shri U. Kumar, sir, past President, MGMI, and former CMD, SECL and NCL, to please felicitate the session chairman, Shri Alok Bharti, sir, IAS, retired former Secretary, Ministry of Coal. We are very thankful to the session chairman for organizing this session.
We have the privilege, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Piyush Kumar, sir, Organizing Secretary and Council Member, MGMI and OSD Ministry of Coal, for vote of thanks. Shri Piyush Kumar, sir.
So I think we are on time to close the complete program. To start with, I would like to firstly thank President MGMI, Dr. Reddy, to entrust his job to Delhi branch to organize Holland Memorial Lecture. As a secretary of MGMI Ranchi branch, around 20 years back, I was associated for more than 20 years. The first time I am seeing that the MGMI headquarters is empowering all the branches and the activities are going beyond Calcutta. So one of this, the program which we have organized, the physical program at Delhi, I hope so that with his blessings and the support from MGMI headquarters, the MGMI Delhi branch will continue to organize such size of seminars and conferences. I would also like to thank Secretary Coal, who has delivered the Holland Memorial Lecture, and Chairman Coal India Limited, Guest of Honor. In this session, I would like to thank our session chair, Sri Prati sir, who has organized this session. I would also like to thank the speakers, invitees, MGMI members, delegates for being here and making this program a success. I would like to thank our sponsors, New Era, Singareni Coal Company Limited, and Oil India for giving gold sponsorship, and JPL, SL Mining, ECL, and MCL for silver sponsorship. I would like to thank the organizing committee who was headed by the MGMI DC chairman and Sri U. Kumar Sahab and Anand Gautam Sahab. Means nothing has to be done because they are so experienced that without taking any pain, everything was completed, everything was conducted in time. I would like to thank Nivedita, our officer from Coal India, for successfully and coordinating the things, because the last minute changes, it becomes very difficult to grasp and organize properly. I would like to thank our event partner, Indian Coal Forum and Business Media Link, for organizing the program in a grand manner. I would like to thank the people from press and media, especially Shalini from PSU Watch, who have joined us to cover the program in a grand manner. So thank you everyone. I must have missed somebody, but I ultimately thank the hotel management also and all the persons who were directly or indirectly involved. Two persons I would like to thank, lastly, Dr. C.S. Singh and Ranjit Talapatra, who helped a lot from Calcutta MGMI main branch to make this program a success. Please join for lunch. Thank you.